again, we have a very special guest in the booth tonight, the Kimberley blogger for Bloggers Blurb.
Yes, Bloggers Blurb.
Josh Lockhart is joining us. And Josh, first of all, your thoughts of tonight's hockey game?
Oh, that is a lot of shots that J.J. Pichette is facing. I am astounded. What are we at? 42 shots fired on him and 4 goals allowed. Man, and so for me, it's one-sided in that regard, that we're just peppering their goalie, but I'm really impressed by his play.
Well, and if you talk about the 42 shots, some of them were easy saves, but I have to give the Dynamiters 20 goal-scoring opportunities. He has made some outstanding saves.
Yes. He's been a pleasure to watch, and that for me has always been one of the nice things about watching the Braves, is they've always got these players, like they had Paxton Malone earlier in the season, now they have Carter Jones and Luke Gallagher and J.J. Pichette are just, for me, just a couple of their standout players that they have. They've got high skill, they're young, so it'll be really interesting to see where their team goes in the future.
Well, looking at J.J. Pichette, I'm not sure what his age is, but if there are any Junior A scouts or even Western Hockey League scouts out here, he's not the tallest goaltender in the world, but he makes saves. He's always in the right position. If he's screened, he's covering up the bottom half of the net like a goaltender wants to do.
Yeah.
And he's made a number of, like I say, outstanding saves.
Yeah, he's been a pleasure to watch.
Yeah. Okay, so other than that, the Dynamite is pretty much dominating play, especially on the power play. We talked about this during the second period. The Dynamite scored 2 out of 3 opportunities in the power play on that second period. But the first 4 power plays could easily have been 4-0.
Absolutely.
Again, they dominated. I don't know that Spokane got out of their zone maybe about once or twice in all 7 power plays.
That's been the hard part to watch. Is just some of the defensive struggles that Spokane is having against the Dynamiters on the power play. Yeah.
Well, they play a very passive penalty kill. They don't move their box very much. I think what they try to do is give their goaltenders an opportunity to see the puck, but they're not a pressuring PK.
No, but if there's one thing I want to be critical about the Dynamiters for, is they're taking the extra pass, or maybe even or making 1 or 2 extra passes than what they should be doing, instead of just firing the puck on net.
Get the puck and get a rebound, and that's how they scored.
That's how they scored, yes.
Their 2 power plays of the night, they scored on
rebound goals.
Especially, Karpushin and Herringer's goals were pucks lying in the crease, they just tapped them in.
Absolutely, yeah.
How Lassiter didn't score that in the last minute of the hockey game. They had a wide open net.
Yeah.
At the point that Carrillo took the roughing, or not Carrillo, but Catola took the roughing penalty. A wide open net. We saw the puck going towards the netting, and then all of a sudden it wasn't a goal. It was amazing.
Yeah. But he's something else to watch. Mr. Pichette is.
Do we have anything else we want to talk about today?
Well, what came out this week was, I've been sitting on this for a while, was I pulled over a dozen bloggers, tweeters, media people, whatever, throughout the KIJHL, and asked them to name 3 forwards, 2 defensemen, and 1 goalie from their conference.
Right.
The hope was to create an all-star team, 1 for each conference. However, with how the voting turned out, it was just easier to make 3 all-star lines.
Right.
Because outside of that, it was just going to get chaotic and messy. And
I actually looked at that on your blog, and I don't recall seeing a Dynamiter on any one of the 3 lines.
There was not a single Dynamiter on those 3 lines. Now, I will admit, starting off, there's always going to be someone that we missed that should have been on the list. And the Castlegar Rebels were very quick to call me out. One of their players, who was it? Let's see here. He scored, last I checked, 32 goals this season.
And you have to think he should be on their list.
Yeah, John Moeller has scored 32 goals this season, and he didn't get enough votes to be on the top 3 lines. So,
and the votes were made by media types, bloggers, etc.
Yeah, so all volunteers.
Yep.
Right? So not at all professionals or those kind of things, but it's just something fun to do because the league doesn't do an all-star team, or they don't kind of recognize those things. So I'm like, let's just have fun and do this and see what happens. And I always like the discussion that comes out afterward of like, oh, didn't really think of that player, or we overlooked this player. So it's not just me picking my favorite players. It's 12 different plus
and I think
brains.
If you were to poll the coaches in each division, you might get slightly different players on that list as well.
Absolutely.
The coaches have a pretty good idea who they like on the other teams and who they like on their own team for that matter.
Well, which is where I like to compare when the division awards are given out by the league to see how much we do line up with those awards, because those are I'm sorry, a little tickle there. Those are voted on by the coaches. So that's where I like to compare our notes. Okay. So let's go through these lines. On the first line, so this were the players that received the most amount of votes.
Okay.
We have Logan Styler from Castlegar, Colin Bell from Osoyoos, and Michael Fidanza from the Chase Heat.
From the Chase Heat? Okay.
Chase Heat, yeah. And then we have McCoy Hawk, who will be a nightmare defenseman to play against in the playoffs. And then Daniel Stone, who's averaging like a point per game as a defenseman.
Right.
And then we will know this guy really well, Talon Kramer.
Yes.
The nightmare. Like, JJ Pichetta is doing a fantastic job. Talon Kramer is a couple notches up from that. So he's intimidating to watch. And then on our second line, interesting that these two players ended up being on there. Paxton Malone from Crescent Valley, but also from Spokane earlier. And then Carter Jones. Excuse me. And then Brett Witilla. Witilla?
I call it Waitala, but...
Yeah, sounds like you say Nutella when you do that. Has that same kind of like... Nutella? Rhymes with Nutella. And then Garrett Ewart from Kamloops and Austin Seeger from Osoyoos on defense. So this is where it started showing through that how powerful Osoyoos was. Sorry, that is stuck. With how many...
I'm the one with the cold in this booth, you know that.
You're the one with the cold?
Apparently.
I have it.
You caught it real fast.
I caught it real quick from you. Wow. It's just how many Osoyoos Coyotes are on this list. We have Liam Aiken in net for that line 2. And then line 3. Nope, not coming. Sorry, everyone. That is really my bad. There's Riley Petite, or Petite. We argued about this name last time. I have no idea how to pronounce it. Ryan Roseboom, and then from Osoyoos, and Tyler Hartman from Beaver Valley. Then on defense, we have Vince Batoni, and then public enemy number 1, Alex Shoveldave from the Fernie Ghost Riders. And then the other goalie for Osoyoos, Adam Jones. And that's the top 3 lines.
I noticed there wasn't a lot of Beaver Valley Nighthawks in either of those 3 lines. And of course, the Beaver Valley Nighthawks, by far and away the best team in the KIJHL.
Absolutely.
Point-wise. But obviously the Osoyoos Coyotes, the Chase Heat, the 100 Mile House Wranglers. There's a lot of competition for the top spot in the KIJHL this year.
Yes. Osoyoos and Beaver Valley being, for me, the 2 teams that are really competing for
Osoyoos was supposed to be one of the strengths last year too, but they bowed out, I believe, in 5 games to the Wranglers last year's playoffs.
Osoyoos,
surprise.
Yes, they've had a couple surprising playoffs the past couple of years, where they have a great regular season and then struggle in the playoffs. Don't know why.
Well, most teams when they get to the playoffs have that extra gear, and that's what the Dynamiters are looking forward to, is picking up some nice momentum going into the playoffs. Yes. Although the Spokane Braves are giving a bit of a tussle tonight.
They are.
They want to be on a roll going into the playoffs. Their final game going to be in Beaver Valley next Friday.
That will be a test.
And that will be a test. But again, it's a nothing game for either team. The spots are set in stone on this division.
And theirs pretty much as well.
And theirs
for Beaver Valley.
I believe the only team that could possibly overtake them or tie them is the Osoyoos team. But even if they win all their games, they can't overtake they'd
be tied. Yeah.
They'd be tied, and Beaver Valley has more wins. So they would take over first place.
Yeah, I do believe so. I might I think it might be the other way. If Soyuz, I think Soyuz actually has more wins if they were to win. Don't know. No, you
I believe they've got 23 wins.
Okay.
Beaver Valley has 29.
Okay, perfect.
So there'd be 4 wins. They'd have 27 wins.
Okay, glad you checked that. No.
Oh, you don't trust me?
I think I did my math a little bit differently, where I was like, if Soyuz won every single game here on out, where would they be? I think it might have been tied, but also for me, I'd give the nod to Beaver Valley just with their 2 winning streaks that they've had this year.
Yes.
But just to come back to the All-Stars, there were 3 Dynamiters who received votes, but not enough to crack the top 3. And that was Chase Miller, who leads the team in scoring.
Right.
Nolan Carrillo was the player of the month last month and also has one of the top points per game averages in the league. And then on defense, Devin Langelaar, who is sporting a nice change in teeth after last night's game.
Lost a couple of chicklets, is that what you're saying?
I think so, and it looks like they've been chipped too. So he's looking very pretty.
Oh. Well, he looks like a hockey player.
Yes, he does.
There's not many hockey players go through junior, major junior, NHL that maintain their full dental complement, if you will.
No, not at all. So yes, there you have the All-Star picks.
As
just for
by
fun.
Volunteers around the league.
Yeah, so I call it the unofficial All-Star team, but it garners a lot of attention from around the league when we do
good.
that.
I mean, that means that people are paying attention to your blog.
Which is still surprising. I'm having those moments where I'm like, oh, people actually read this? Like,
well,
yeah.
And I'm surprised that I actually read it. And what
thanks for your support.
What bothers me is that it takes you a while to...
Your turn.
Now, what bothers me is it takes a day or 2 for you to get the blog on. I want to go home, I want to look at your blog, and it's not there.
So, okay, so what's happened is because the townsman, or the Kimberley Bulletin Cranbrook townsman, approached me and said, hey, we would like to have your material in the paper.
Yep.
There's kind of this agreement to not post things too soon, so that way
so it could come in the paper.
Okay. Not for, but kind of at about the same time.
Okay.
So that's what's going on there. Last season, I was much better at like just typing up my own thoughts in the first, second, and third period,
right.
Whereas now it's a little bit more elaborate because I've had to fill in.
So there's a good reason for
yes.
that, so I shouldn't be bothered by that.
You shouldn't be, but I do miss being as quick to post as I was in the past.
Indeed. Okay.
So I do miss that. But
right, so let's talk about predictions
for
the playoffs.
Oh,
because we know the predictions in the regular season are way out of whack.
Indeed.
You got 1 right.
No, 2. I got Golden and Columbia Valley in the right spots. Everyone else is messed up.
Okay, so I'm just thinking of the playoff positions. You got 1
right. 1 right. Oh, yes, 1 right in the playoff position.
Okay, so
yes.
Going forward, first round matchups, Columbia Valley and Creston.
For me, I think Columbia Valley will give Creston a run for their money.
How many wins?
I think Creston will take it in 5.
5 games?
Yeah.
I would bet that Columbia Valley is playing so well, and they beat Creston last night. Mm-hmm. I believe that Columbia Valley will win 2 games.
Okay.
So it's Creston in 6.
Okay.
Now, the most important series on this side, Kimberley and Fernie.
I say 7 games and Kimberley.
Kimberley wins at home in Game 7.
Yeah. It'll be really close because that series was split. Sorry.
I believe that Kimberley will win 1 game in Fernie and take it in 6.
6, okay. Okay, I can see that.
We'll have to see.
Yeah.
And being a Dynamiter fan, I can't go with the other team.
No, you sure can't.
Besides that, Kimberley came in 2nd, so they get home ice advantage.
Yes, they do. And I think that will pay dividends for them against Fernie.
And we'll talk about the other divisions later because the hockey game is going to come.
Yes, and that's more important than us.
Waiting for a report.
Anyway, to all my friends in Spokane, happy Gonzaga Day. That's why I'm wearing my Gonzaga Bulldogs hat.
It's a Gonzaga Day?
It's Gonzaga Day today.
Are they going to make it to March Madness?
Of course, they're ranked number 1 in the entire nation right now.
Are they really?
Yes.
I wasn't aware of that.
So anyway,
get out of here.
I am leaving now.